Hi everyone, Brendan here from With 'em and Without 'em Neurodivergent Family Adventures. Got my co-pilot Jesse in the passenger seat. Hey Jesse, you gonna say hello? Say hello to YouTube. The other day I picked up a free stereo for my Holden, and I'm gonna bring his with me as I work out installing it. Grabbed this Clarion off Marketplace. No, it came from Gumtree actually. Just a freebie. It's not as straightforward as I would have thought to get it into this Holden Epica. This is one of the hardest cars I've ever worked on because the Koreans at Daewoo, they've hidden everything, and all the screws are just concealed everywhere. YouTube University to the rescue. I believe the channel I watched yesterday was Pit Stop Car Audio, and I'm really grateful as I picked up more than just Holden Epica tips. Also learned some more auto electrical hacks and tips that are going to be very useful. So let's get started. Get rid of the phone mount. Could go down there. Now I bought some cheap trim panel removing tools from a discount Chinese store online. Truth is, they're pretty useless, so get rid of them. First step is to remove the fascia, and I've already had a go at this yesterday. It's just a matter of pulling it out from the 4 clips, top left and right, bottom right and left. This bottom right corner was quite tricky yesterday, but I think there's a couple more clips in there as well. Just using a standard hook tool that I bought years ago from one of the discount auto retailers locally. I'm really at the point that I need some much better tools. Might even go back to using the screwdriver I used yesterday when I was working this out. Fortunately I have actually damaged some of the car trim. These clips are really quite tight sometimes, but that's the fascia removed. And then next step with a standard Phillips screwdriver is to remove the 4 screws. Left a couple out yesterday while I was working out the steps involved. Now, as someone with ADHD and autism, I'm not the greatest working on these jobs, but over time I've learnt some good skills with the help of some good friends. With the 4 screws undone, simply slide the head unit out, and I'm going to be really glad to be rid of this head unit, as it's been a nightmare with the Bluetooth pairing. And then we've just got the antenna cable to remove, pain compared to yesterday. And the video I watched said simply to release these blue clips. It'll be a pain. The truth is I'm mostly self-taught with a lot of those sorts of jobs. Haven't always worked out the best way to do them, but it should be a matter of just pushing these clips. Really should have gone back to watch that video again. It's my heavy breathing. Been a bit breathless lately. Unfortunately, I'm at the point where I need to take 4 medications to bring my blood pressure down, and it's a bit life and death now. Now, I received my autism diagnosis May 2023, and then I was diagnosed with ADD back in the mid-80s. There we go, that's one. But with the way the system is, I needed to have it reconfirmed as an adult, and part of me getting my blood pressure down, apart from saving my life, is so that I can start on some ADHD medication, which will hopefully help with focus and a few other things. But there we are, I've got the first part done. I've got the head unit removed. What's going to be handy is that wiring diagram when it comes to hooking up the Clarion. Unfortunately, living on a very low income means I have to make a few sacrifices, and I had a little look at a website yesterday, and it would cost me I think over $300, $350 all up to buy the correct wiring harness adapters so we can get all those hooked up to the original Holden wiring. I will be buying an adapter so that I can connect the antenna to, I believe it's one of those two ports, can't remember now. Luckily I can get that for $10, and I'm hoping my mate Ian has also saved me $70 for the fascia kit, and that I can mount the head unit using these maker brackets that I just got from Bunnings, and they cost me $3, and I'm really hoping I can save that money. Truth is, I was actually given this car, and now that I've got the free stereo, I don't really want to spend a lot of money installing it. So I've bought 4 of these maker bracket shapes that are made by Carina, and yeah, as I said, they cost me $3 from the big green shed. So hopefully I can get these back in place like I did while I was at Bunnings. It's just a matter of removing these original screws. Unfortunately, with ADHD and autism, I find it hard working out angles and shapes and things, but I'm hoping I can remember exactly how I did this. I had the 2 L's made into this shape, sure I matched it up with the correct holes, but it was those 2. Screwing the screws back in. I always teased for being unco at school, and I think there's a dyspraxia word or something that more formally describes it, but I usually get myself along doing the best I can, all that I had to match up. Now, I've never even heard of these. I then bend these around. I should do the job, it's just going to be a matter of cutting off the extra tab. Still having a bit of a clean up. Somewhere I should have some tin snips. Well, we'll start off with the tin snips and see if I need to move on to something a bit heavier. The greatest setup. Get rid of the sharp bits, and I should be able to bend that back around nicely to fit the original Holden mounting points. Quick pat for the supervisor. Yeah, good girl, Kissy. That old saying, measure twice, cut once. Definitely need to remember that when you're doing these kind of jobs when you're neurospicy. But just have to mark the correct tabs to cut. So at this point in time, I still need to order an adapter to connect the radio antenna from the Holden into one of these cables, that one. Unfortunately, I've got a female and a female, it looks like, and they're just not going to work. That's just a $10 cable from Auto Parts Retailer. Now, this is not my forte at all. This is something I need to draw on all my powers of patience for. What I found was easiest to remove the harness from the Clarion, and then I just need to separate these wires. So cut out the old electrical tape, and then it's just a matter of removing the tape from, no, it's heat shrink. In this case, I think I'm just going to snip the wires off. It gives me enough length to pair them up to the Holden wires, and just chopping off the last of the heat shrink now. My mate Pete has introduced me to the most wonderful tool for working with cables like this, and it's just this crocodile mouth wire stripper, and it's so simple. Just to place the cable in there and slice off to remove the insulation, and you've got a nice bare wire to attach to where it needs to go. So for anyone who's tuned in to work out how to do these jobs with the Holden Epica, also known as a Chevrolet Epica or Daewoo Tosca, I've just noticed there's a couple of locating pins there and there. This will help you if you need to reinstall the original head unit, as it isn't quite lining up still. I'm sure any professionals would let me do this. I'm doing things the most awkward way possible, but unfortunately that's how it goes for a lot of us who are neurospicy. Unfortunately dealing with so much brain fog as well as fatigue at the moment. I'd like to be making a lot more YouTube videos. It's very hard to make these videos when I'm doing things without a script. The brain fog really makes it hard to think about what I need to say. Not that I'm on so much medication at the moment either. Part of that is that I need to get my secondary hyperparathyroidism in check. It could mean an upcoming operation, but after 20 years of fatigue, really needing to get on top of this fatigue, and I want nothing more than to get back into working, earning some money. Kylie and I have a dream to hit the road and follow in the footsteps or tie marks of so many other families that I follow on YouTube at the moment, and a dream like that's going to cost us a lot of money. Unfortunately, funds are quite hard to come by at the moment, and it's going to cost a lot of money to set ourselves up with a decent rig and caravan. Part of me starting these YouTube videos now is to practice some of these things, and that includes the video making as I build the channel, try and get better with some presentation skills. Not sure why this isn't going back in. Put that screw in there for now until I get back to this job another day. Hey guys, Brendan again. Bear with me, I'm learning how to do all of this. This is my first time recording my screen. Thought I'd show you just how I found out the accessories I need to buy. AirPro make faster kits and adapter cables, so just a matter of going back to their website and then into the make and model. Got a 2010 Epica, 2007 to 2011 EP model, and that'll bring up your car. Then it's just a matter of typing in your head unit model, and I've forgotten it again. VX 400A. I think I found it by, that's how I got it, typing in the model code rather than Clarion. Scroll down. Now you can retain the steering wheel controls, just means you gotta pay a lot more money, but it's brought up the part numbers. That's the ISO harness, suits the 18 pin Clarion head units. Then we've got a patch lead to connect to the steering wheel controls. A bit further down, you got your OEM original dash photo. Next part is the fascia to suit Holden's. And then into the harnesses, so we've got one to connect to the steering wheel buttons. Not sure what that one is. Basically, when you're retrofitting a better stereo to an older car, you need one cable to adapt from in this case, it's a Clarion. That goes into a standard clip for the car. yeah, so you got your Clarion to ISO, which is the standard, then ISO into whatever car you've got. I will be buying this antenna adapter, APA 36, but I think I can get away without paying for the other ones. So this is the fascia kit that I could buy, $70. It's not something I've really got the money for, but it'll make for a much cleaner install. You can see the side panels there. Let you attach the new head unit to the car. Not quite sure how they work, but also get a little DIN pocket, single size DIN pocket to replace the pop out ashtray. But I'll go up to my shopping cart and you can see that they're all special order items, but $70 for the fascia kit. Then we've got $130 for the steering wheel control harness to keep the buttons working. Not sure why I've got two of those there. Then the Holden to standard ISO harness, and down to the antenna adapter. Just remove all of these. That's going to take a while, but yeah, you can see that it does all add up, and for a free car and free stereo, I really don't want to spend that money. And that really wraps it up for part one of this install video. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. It's very hard to keep working through this fatigue and brain fog. I do have a lot of interesting ideas for this channel. As you've seen, we're heading off to Wave Rock and Lake Biddy in October. I'm working very hard behind the scenes on some family history research and really hoping to bring you the story of my great-grandfather, Walter Mulkey Witham, and some of his children, including my grandfather, as well as my grandparents. So they were Ern and Rose Thackra, and Ern had the general store down at Lake Biddy from about the getting on to the later 1920s through to the 1930s, and probably until my grandpa Roy, Gran Joan, and Ern and Rosa left Lake Biddy and headed off to Tamalap. Not sure when I'll get to part two of the installation video. Going to order the antenna adapter and see how long that takes to come. Hopefully we can get back into it soon because I really want to pump those tunes out. See you, everyone. Thanks for bearing with me.